Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of A Westlake Moment, a Chinese romantic comedy from 2005 that stars Zhou Xun and Chen Kun. It has been years since I've seen this one, but I was in the mood for a rewatch, so figured I would review it as well. Xiao Yu, played by Zhou Xun, is a barista and cake maker in a teahouse-café that's located near Westlake in Hangzhou. Since a car crash long ago, she's been leading a peaceful life with her kind-hearted best friend and fellow car crash survivor, Tong, who is unabashed in admitting that his feelings for her have developed into love. One day, a young man named A-Qin, played by Chen Kun, celebrates his birthday alone in her cafe. Her curiosity sparks a conversation, and they both discover that they have many parallels. But A-Qin is a player who has escaped to Hangzhou from the pressures of his relationships in Beijing. One of the things I really like about A Westlake Moment is the atmosphere. This has a very, chill, indie vibe to it. And this is especially true during the scenes that take place inside this teahouse-café, which is pretty spacious and large. And it does look upscale, but it also has this laid-back feel due to the interior design. It's very, homey. It includes some plants, some framed pictures on the walls, and it makes you feel like you're kind of in a big house. And, this is the type of coffee house that I would go to if I had one in my hometown. A lot of us, we're stuck in these suburbs or urban areas where we have Starbucks and, maybe a few other choices. But there's really no cool cafes in my area, at least not with the atmosphere that this one gives. So it's pretty nice. Now, much of the film does take place outside of that location, of course. And we get some shots of Westlake itself, which is a very relaxing, natural environment. You get some woodland areas and obviously the big lake there. And then we also get some urban locales as well. So there's a nice mix of environments in this. One thing that adds to the atmosphere is the music. And the filmmakers use some chill acoustic guitar music quite a bit, as well as some traditional Chinese instrumentation at times, and as well a little bit of a dreamy, relaxing kind of tune or tunes are mixed in too. All of this creates a very pleasant vibe. Now, in terms of content, this is really an entirely dialogue-driven film. It's less plot-based, more dialogue-driven. So people hang out and talk to each other, and that's kind of your movie here. They talk about romance as well as a variety of other things. Their own psychology, how they look at life. They talk about tea making. There's a movie script that the guy is working on, so that comes up a few times. Also, our female lead has conversations with an imaginary character named Zazabo, who's this sassy little girl who actually gives her some attitude. And the little girl represents, our main character's subconscious thoughts. So she's basically debating with herself sometimes, which is kind of funny. And, A Westlake Moment is mostly centered on romance, but the chit-chat gets some variety. The male lead in this, a little bit of a douche. He's got a douchey side to him. As the plot synopsis suggested, he's a player. So he does make a few key mistakes with each of his romantic interests that could have been avoided. But still, he's likable enough. And this is more of an innocent kind of romance film. In terms of the spectrum where you'll have the modern day cynical romance films, then you have the old school romantic comedies. This is more along the lines of an older school, positive type vibe. And that adds to its charm. There's a good amount of humor present, mostly effective, and you get a feel for the style of humor early on. One of my favorite scenes of the movie involves a thermometer in a hospital, and that's all I'll say, but I laugh out loud every time during that scene. So it's got a little bit of charm from the humor aspect as well. Now, I mentioned this before on this channel over the years, but I am a massive fan of Zhou Xun. She is a phenomenal actress, and her presence is obviously a huge positive here. She even gets a few scenes where she acts dramatically, and she just nails it. She's great. And then you get Chen Kun, plays off of her quite well. I've seen him in some other stuff over the years. Good actor, but obviously Zhou is like the elite presence here. Camera work and editing are slightly energetic, which helps to keep you in it and maintain interest. This is a movie, a Westlake moment, that I very much enjoy. It's like, I wouldn't call it like a classic, so to speak. And really the main criticisms of this would probably be that it's not especially deep. The script writing does rely on a few cliches and contrivances, but it's just a very pleasant film with a chill vibe. So I recommend it for those reasons. And you get the lead actress in the lead role. Currently available streaming on YouTube. Have you seen this one? And if so, what are your thoughts? And as always, I'll see you next time.